What if I told you that the woman you're falling for may be carrying a history you don't see, but one that silently shapes how she connects with you? You've probably felt it before, that gut instinct whispering something isn't right. Her words sound perfect. Her smile is flawless, but something in her energy doesn't line up. That unease you feel isn't paranoia. It's your intuition trying to protect you. And the truth is, most men never listen to it. You see, men are often told to ignore their instincts, to just accept her story at face value, but deep down, you can sense patterns of behavior that speak louder than her words. These patterns are subtle, often hidden in how she treats attention, how she views commitment, and how quickly she shifts between partners. It's not about judging her, it's about protecting yourself from investing your soul into someone who may not value it. Women who've had countless short-lived encounters tend to carry emotional imprints. They might appear carefree, but beneath that, there's a restlessness, an inability to sit in peace with one man. Their past often leaves them chasing validation instead of connection. And if you miss these signs, you'll end up becoming just another name in her cycle, rather than the man she deeply respects. You deserve more than to be an option in someone's revolving door. That's why it's crucial to recognize the hidden indicators, not to shame her, but to guard your own heart. Because the moment you mistake experience for loyalty, you'll find yourself blindsided, wondering why she's slipping away, even when you gave her everything. Most men wake up too late, after the heartbreak has already hollowed them out. But you don't have to be one of them. If you learn how to read the silent language she shows, you'll never be left guessing again. Instead, you'll step into relationships with eyes wide open, knowing exactly what kind of woman stands before you, and whether she's capable of respecting you the way you deserve. One of the first hidden signs lies in how she views intimacy itself. Pay attention carefully here, because this is where most men get blindsided. A woman who has shared herself with many partners often begins to detach the act from genuine emotion. To her, it may feel casual, transactional, or even recreational, while to you, it carries meaning, connection, and weight. This difference in perception creates a silent gap between you, a gap you may not notice until it's too late. You'll hear it in the way she talks. She might laugh off deep connections as too serious, or brush off your desire for exclusivity as if it's old-fashioned. She may speak about relationships in vague, surface-level terms, avoiding any real depth. Why? Because when you've given pieces of yourself away too many times without true commitment, you learn how to keep things shallow. It becomes a shield, a way to avoid vulnerability. But here's the psychological trap. Many men mistake this lightheartedness for confidence. They think, she's just independent, carefree, fun. Yet in reality, it may be a mask covering a deep inability to bond fully. This is why some women can move on from men so quickly, without hesitation, because their sense of attachment has been dulled by repetition. Now, I'm not telling you to interrogate her past or to shame her for choices she's made. What I'm saying is this: observe her attitude toward intimacy and connection. Does she treat it as sacred, or does it feel disposable? Does she seem fully present with you, or is there a sense of distance, as if part of her mind is always elsewhere? If you ignore these clues, you risk investing your heart in someone who doesn't see the relationship as more than a temporary chapter. And that's the tragedy so many men face. They give their loyalty, their time, their soul to a woman who was never planning to stay. You must value yourself enough to discern, because once you see these signs clearly, you won't fall for surface charm. You'll recognize whether she's truly capable of the deep bond you're looking for, or whether you're just another fleeting moment in her story. Another powerful sign is hidden in how she responds to male attention. Watch closely, because this one exposes more than words ever will. A woman who has been with many men often becomes conditioned to constant validation. It's not just that she enjoys compliments, it's that she needs them to feel secure. You'll notice she lights up when strangers give her attention, sometimes more than when you do. It's as if she's fueled by the novelty of being desired, rather than the consistency of being cherished. This can show up in subtle ways. Maybe she posts suggestive photos online, fishing for likes, even when she's already in a relationship. Maybe she thrives on keeping male friends orbiting around her, not cutting ties because she secretly enjoys the feeling of options. Or perhaps she always mentions how many people want her as if it's a badge of honor. These aren't just quirks. They reveal a mindset trained to seek validation rather than stability. Now, here's the truth most men never want to admit. When a woman constantly craves attention, no single man will ever be enough. You can give her loyalty, affection, commitment, but the moment she feels the slightest dip in your focus, she'll start looking elsewhere. Not because you failed her, but because her validation hunger runs deeper than what one man can satisfy. And this is where so many men get trapped. They try harder, give more, bend over backwards to keep her happy, not realizing the hole they're trying to fill has no bottom. The more they give, the less it matters, because she's already conditioned to seek the next hit of excitement, the next pair of eyes, the next admirer. Understand this: a woman who respects herself and values true connection won't need an audience to feel complete. She'll find her worth in the bond she shares with you, not in the shallow approval of strangers. But if her life revolves around being noticed, it's a sign that no matter how much you pour into her, you'll never truly hold her heart. The question you must ask yourself is simple. Are you willing to compete with the world for her attention, or do you deserve a woman whose attention belongs fully to you? Pay attention to how she talks about her past relationships. This is one of the most overlooked signs, yet it reveals more than she ever intends to. A woman who has cycled through many partners often speaks about her history in vague or dismissive terms. She may say things like, "It just didn't work out," or "We weren't compatible," without ever taking real accountability. Notice the pattern. The stories are short, shallow, and often repeated, because the past is littered with chapters she doesn't want you to read. But here's the deeper layer. When she minimizes her history, it's not always about protecting her privacy. It can be about protecting her image. She knows that revealing too much might make you question her value, so she downplays, distracts, or shifts the blame. And if you press for clarity, she may grow defensive or accuse you of being insecure. This isn't about curiosity, it's about transparency. When someone values you, they don't hide behind smoke screens. Now, there's a dangerous trap here. Many men convince themselves that the past doesn't matter, that love means accepting everything blindly. But psychology proves otherwise. A person's past patterns are the strongest predictor of future behavior. If she has a trail of broken connections without growth or reflection, what makes you believe you'll be the exception? The truth is, when someone has been through countless short-lived attachments, it changes how they bond. It creates a cycle of detachment, an ability to walk away without hesitation. And if you don't see it early, you'll pour yourself into someone who already has one foot out the door. Ask yourself, does she speak with honesty about what she learned from her past? Or does she brush it off like it never left a mark? Does she show signs of growth or only signs of escape? Because a woman who's truly ready for something real won't hide from her past. She'll own it, learn from it, and show you through her actions that she's not repeating the same mistakes. Never ignore these clues. They're not about judging her. They're about protecting you. Because if she can't face where she's been, she'll never truly value where she's going with you. Another sign that most men miss is hidden in how she views commitment itself. A woman who has cycled through many partners often struggles with the concept of long-term stability. To her, the idea of staying with one man can feel restrictive, even suffocating, because she has been conditioned to chase the thrill of new rather than the depth of lasting. This mindset doesn't always show in her words, it shows in her behavior. Notice how she reacts when you speak about the future. Does she deflect, joke, or change the subject? Does she show discomfort when conversations shift toward building something stable? Many men misinterpret this as her being free-spirited or just living in the moment. But in truth, it can be a sign that she has never learned to truly anchor herself to one man. You may also notice that she's quick to label past partners as toxic or not enough, yet rarely admits her own role in why things failed. This lack of accountability is a red flag, not because she's had relationships before, but because she hasn't grown from them. Without growth, history always repeats itself. And if you step into her life believing you'll be the exception, you risk becoming just another name in the same endless cycle. Here's the part men don't want to face. A woman who has had many shallow attachments often becomes skilled at starting strong but finishing weak. The honeymoon phase with her feels electric, intoxicating, almost addictive. But once the novelty fades, so does her interest. That's when she begins pulling away, seeking distractions, or suddenly questioning the relationship. It's not because you failed, it's because her conditioning thrives on beginnings, not endurance. If you ignore this, you'll waste years trying to convince someone to value what they were never truly capable of giving. That's why awareness is everything. A woman ready for something real doesn't run from stability, she craves it. She doesn't flinch at the word commitment, she embraces it because she knows the worth of building rather than always chasing. So ask yourself honestly, does she desire a future with depth, or is she addicted to the rush of short-lived connections? The answer will reveal whether she's truly capable of walking beside you, or if she's destined to keep running. Look at how she carries herself when it comes to discipline and self-control. This is one of the most revealing signs, because a woman who has lived in constant indulgence often struggles with restraint in every area of life. If she's used to chasing thrill after thrill, whether in relationships, lifestyle, or habits, you'll notice a restlessness in her. She finds it difficult to sit still, to commit, to dedicate herself fully to one path. That lack of discipline is not confined to romance. It bleeds into everything. Watch her habits closely. Is she impulsive with money, constantly spending without thinking of tomorrow? Does she jump from hobby to hobby, job to job, or friend group to friend group? These patterns often mirror how she handles men, short bursts of intensity followed by boredom and escape. A woman who lacks inner discipline rarely sustains loyalty, because true loyalty demands patience, sacrifice, and strength. Here's the truth. Attraction can blind you, but patterns never lie. When you meet a woman, you're not just meeting her smile or her charm, you're meeting the habits she has built over years. If those habits are rooted in instant gratification, you will always be competing with her desire for the next. And no matter how much love you give, you cannot outlast a mindset addicted to novelty. This is where many men lose themselves. They think if they give more, if they become more exciting, more available, more devoted, she will finally stay. But what they don't realize is they're feeding into her cycle. The more they try to hold her, the more she craves escape. Because to her, love is not about depth. It's about the adrenaline of change. But here's the good news. Not all women are like this. A woman of value shows discipline not just in her words, but in her life. She doesn't run from responsibility. She embraces it. She doesn't crumble under boredom. She builds with patience. That kind of woman doesn't chase endless novelty because she understands that real intimacy, real stability, and real growth are worth more than the shallow highs of fleeting experiences. So the question becomes, does her life show signs of discipline, or is it ruled by impulse? The answer tells you everything about what your future with her will look like. The final and most undeniable sign isn't found in her words, or even in her actions. It's found in the way she treats you once the excitement fades. A woman who has lived through countless fleeting attachments often sees men as replaceable. In the beginning, she may shower you with attention, make you feel like you're the center of her world, but when the honeymoon glow fades, watch carefully. Does her respect for you remain, or does she start drifting, pulling away, searching for the next spark? Respect is the ultimate test, because no matter how many experiences she's had, a woman who is truly ready for love will value a man who shows strength, boundaries, and direction. But if she's still trapped in the cycle of endless novelty, she will never respect the man who bends to keep her happy. In fact, the more you chase her, the less she values you. This is the hidden psychology most men never learn. Women don't lose interest because you weren't good enough. They lose interest because you allowed yourself to become just another option, and if she has lived a life of revolving doors, she's trained to walk through them without hesitation. That's why your strength, your independence, and your ability to walk away become your greatest protection. The truth is hard, but freeing. You cannot change her past. You cannot rewrite her patterns, but you can choose to see the signs before you give away your heart. You can choose to value yourself enough to demand respect, loyalty, and depth. And when you do, you won't fall for charm alone. You'll recognize the difference between a woman who's capable of love and one who's still chasing shadows. So I'll leave you with this question, one that only you can answer. When you look at her, do you see a woman who values depth, or do you see a woman addicted to the thrill of being desired? Drop your honest answer in the comments below. And if this opened your eyes, don't just keep it to yourself. Hit that like button, subscribe for more truths no one else will tell you, and share this with a friend who needs to hear it today. Because the sooner men see reality clearly, the sooner they stop being used and start being respected.